Hey guys, Jenny here. I'm a current Fusion intern, and for the next 7 minutes or so, I want to share with you some of my favorite time-saving tips while modeling. They'll really save you time, frustration, and maximize your efficiency. So, let's get started. I pulled in the bicycle from GrabCAD, and I changed the colors, and everything looks good, but as I'm rotating around, you can see that the model is nowhere near the origin of the workspace. I decided that I want the center of my front wheel to be aligned with the origin. So to do this, I could right-click the model and move it over, but it would take a lot of small incremental movements to actually find where the center was. So instead, I'm not going to do that, but I will open the move command back up, but this time I'll use point to point. To do this, you're going to select the first point and then move it where you want it to go for the second point. So I'll be selecting the middle portion of the center of the front wheel, and you can hold down the control key and go between where you want that point to be, whether you want it to be on the front left, front middle, or front right. And I want it to be in the middle of the part, so I'll click that first. And then for the second point, I'll go back out and click the origin, but it's kind of hard to find, so I'll zoom back out and use the top view so I can see it better. If we zoom out again, we can see that the entire bike has moved to align with the origin. This is really great. And if the ground plane doesn't appear to be below the model, you can go under Layout and uncheck Layout Gridlock. But mine looks really good, so I'm pretty happy. Next, as you rotate around, you'll see a red dot. This dot is the pivot location for rotation. If you hold down the Shift key and click the middle mouse button, you can set it. So here I'm going to set it about the front wheel, and then I'll set it about the back wheel. And to get rid of this, all you need to do is double-click the middle mouse button. So for this bike, I want to create this. I'll put it somewhere in the corner of the screen so you can see it when I'm done. But I want to create a small flag and a holder for this bicycle. And so to start, I'm going to create a sketch plane. To do that, I'll be creating a plane and offsetting it off of the origin plane. So when I click on Create Sketch, it's really hard to actually see where the plane intersects the part. No matter how much I rotate or zoom in, it's really hard to draw. And there are a few ways to combat this. You can go to Section Analysis and go back and make your sketch plane visible, and you can click on that plane. Or you can go back to the sketch palette and click on Slice, and that'll actually slice away everything else that you shouldn't be looking at when you're making your sketch. Then click on Look At in the sketch palette to actually get the sketch view of where you're sketching. We can begin sketching and creating a part. So as I'm modeling, you might notice that my toolbar layout looks a little bit different than the default toolbar. I've done this so that I can access my most commonly used tools and commands instead of finding it on the drop-down menu. And that alone is going to save you a lot of time, especially when your parts and assemblies are very large and have a lot of small commands that you need to use. For example, when I go into sketching, I rather start with Create Sketch than the line tool because of all the other shapes that I usually start with, be it a rectangle or a circle or the spline tool. So what I'm going to do now is add Create Sketch to the toolbar and remove the Line tool by clicking the X. And of course you can rearrange the icons to be whatever you like. My personal preference is having it be like Create Sketch and then your dimensions, and then if you would like to project or intersect the body onto your sketch plane. And I've also done that with other things like extrude, mirror, parameters, which are really great for speeding up modeling and keeping things organized, as well as adding decals in addition to canvases in the insert plane. So another way to access your commands is by using the right-click menu. For example, if I do it now, I'll access the parameters list because that was the last command that I opened. So I've made a few more adjustments to the flag holder and created a flag and turned them into components, and now I'm ready to add a joint between them. I've clicked the bottom of the flagpole as the location of my first component, and now I'm ready to put it back to the bike in the holder. But when I go to click the bottom of the hole, I keep highlighting other faces and I can't select the middle or the bottom position. So I could give up and choose the top hole and then offset the flagpole to the bottom of the holder. Or, like before with the point-to-point movement, I can hold down Control and choose between the top, middle, or bottom of the hole without highlighting other faces. So after we do that, we can check that the animation looks good, and then we're done. One last tip I want to share with you is how to better find projects in the data panel. If you have a lot of projects or have a high resolution screen like I do, it can be really hard to find the right project and you waste a lot of time scrolling up and down. So some projects have green icons in the top right corner, and there are two different kinds of icons. One is for a multi-person project that you've been added to, and the other is for pinning projects. So with this, you can pin projects and they'll immediately go to the top of the data panel. Just like with the toolbar, I keep projects that I work on most frequently pinned. Now that I've finished the bike, I can unpin the project and it'll go back down to the list where it belongs in alphabetical order. I hope these tips were helpful to you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below or connect with me on Twitter at HeyJanae to see more of my Fusion content or guided conversations started there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.